Come in, come in. Welcome, Mrs. Ms. Smith, Mr. Ndlovu. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. Welcome and thank you for choosing competent attorneys as your attorneys of choice.
Thank you, sir.
So how can I assist you? I see that in terms of your file that you actually require advice in terms of your marital regimes on what marital choices to choose. Is that correct?
This is correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I think what will be easiest first is let me first explain what exactly the different marital choices there is. I see that you have been married before, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the marital choices, or should I discuss it in detail, or are you aware of it?
I would prefer if you can just advise me on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also married before, so I think it is advisable for you to advise us on that.
Okay, there's three systems available.
Yes.
The first one is in community of property. The next one is out of community of property, accrual expressly excluded. And the third one is out of community of property with accrual. Now, let's start with the first one, in community of property. So, what that actually means is what belongs to you before the marriage now belongs to the both of you after the marriage.
Yes.
So, for example, ma'am, let's say if you come in with your car and you come in with your house, sir, that will form part of the joint estate now.
Okay.
Oh,
And let's say if the marriage had to dissolve at some stage, then you will share jointly in that.
Okay.
So you will share in the portion of the car and you will share in the portion in terms of the house.
like for an example, while we're still there, does that mean because I've got a property, a house that is worth around about 100,000, will that form part of our estate? And if something happens between us, I'm not saying that it will happen, baby, but if something happens, it will form that, meaning that he will get 50%.
That's
Of
correct,
that.
ma'am, yes. So what that means is now in terms of your own situation, your 100,000 rand that you have in your savings bank account, he'll have a 50% share in that. And also, his 125,000 rand debt that is coming with, that will also be your debt as well. So you share jointly
Okay.
in both the assets as well as the liabilities as well.
Okay.
The next one is out of community of property, accrual expressly excluded. Now, what that actually means is whatever belongs to you, even when you come into the marriage, it's still yours, it's not shared jointly.
Okay.
And let's say after you get married, you buy a house, or you buy a house and you buy a car. The house will be yours and the car will be yours. You don't share after the marriage.
Okay.
Whatever's accumulated is for your respective selves. Likewise, whatever debt you incur, sir, will be yours, and whatever debt you incur, ma'am, will be yours as well.
Okay.
In terms of your situation, so if you're coming in with the 125,000 rand debt, the debt will still remain to be yours, sir.
Okay.
And then your 100,000 rand savings will still be yours as well.
Okay.
But now let's say, for example, you manage to buy a house. Your house, if the house is on your name, sir, that house will be yours.
Okay.
You won't share jointly in that manner. And the third marital regime is out of community of property with accrual. Now, what this simply means is, like, let's say if you have a house and you have a car, sir, when you come into the marriage, your house will still be yours and your car will still be yours, but whatever you acquire after the marriage, let's say you decide to buy a holiday home in Ballito, KwaZulu-Natal, that holiday home, if it's purchased immediately after your marriage or after your marriage, will form part of the joint estate. So that means, should your marriage dissolve at any stage, you will share jointly in that.
Okay.
And it's the same in terms of debt as well.
Oh,
Whatever debt you come in with will be yours. Whatever debt you come in with will be yours, and whatever debt is actually accumulated after the marriage will form part of the joint estate. So yeah, that actually sums up the 3 marital regimes. Is there any questions that you have for me, Mr. Ndlovu, Ms. Smith?
Maybe I'll ask my wife as to what her view is in terms of the marriage regimes you have just articulated. Maybe which one do you think will best suit us?
I think the third one, the anti-nuptial with accrual, because there we know that together we meaning to build our wealth, you know. But it's fine if you want to discuss it later and come back to our attorney later with what we have thought about it, then it's also okay. But for me, that other one, the third one, the anti-nuptial with accrual sounds better for me.
Now, my wife's choice will be my choice.
Okay. So if I understand this correctly, you would prefer the third option, which is out of community or property with accrual.
That is correct.
Okay, let me just explain now in terms of exactly what that entails, just so that we're all on the same page in terms of your situation. Ma'am, you are coming in with 100,000 Rand in your savings account. So you're coming in with 125,000 Rand in debt.
Yes, sir.
So, ma'am, what will actually happen is your 100,000 Rand in your savings account will be yours. He won't, Mr. Ndlovu won't have a share in that. So your 125,000 Rand debt will be solely yours to take care of. Ms. Smith won't have to pay any of that, and that debt won't be hers.
Okay.
But what you share after that, as I explained, if you buy a house in the Bahamas or KwaZulu-Natal, that will form part of your joint estate.
Okay.
And you, so more or less, you are happy with that choice.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
The other question would be, now that you have chosen the third option, how can we formalize the whole thing?
Okay, in terms of the consultation, you have paid to cover for the consultation, as well as for me to give you a written legal opinion. So what I will do is I will email the written legal opinion to you in terms of your specific situation. And I think from here, once you have chosen already, it would be now for me to actually draft the necessary paperwork to take it forward. So what I would need from you is, in terms of FICA compliance, that is the Financial Intelligent Center Act, I would need your utility bill, your respective ID documents, as well as 3 months bank statement. So I think that would be what's mandatory in terms of what I actually require in order to draw the relevant documentation for you.
Yes.
If we decide, like we're still going to come back to you, we decide to take this out of community of property with accrual, if we want to change it later on, is it possible for us to be able to change it?
Well, yes, you can. You wouldn't be bound by one marital regime. Section 21 of the Matrimonial Property Act allows for variation of regimes during the continuation of marriage, but obviously there's going to be subject to certain conditions. Like, for example, you would actually have to apply to court for it to be granted.
Okay.
And the courts will actually